Look back. I'd actually told you to read it.
You, as an illustrator, I think are really gonna like this series, and I'm like, oh, okay, sure, I'll give it a read.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not think I was really gonna care for it as much as I did.
Oh yeah.
And this series really made an impact on me, and I absolutely loved it.
Mangaka ka.
At AX, they announced that they were gonna have a look back panel,
Yes.
and I thought it was just gonna be like a promotional pitch, like go see the movie when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I thought that was like, for one thing, it was in the tiniest, most inconvenient room that they could have picked.
Yes. And I also thought it was like a outside shot. We get there 3 o'clock. The next panel before is 3:45. So we get in, and this room is full. And then they kind of go in. They're like, "Hey, we have the director of the film in," or we flew the director of the film in.
Yeah.
After you get to see the whole movie.
Yeah, and that's when the crowd erupted.
And so the lights shut off, and the movie starts. We both read the manga. We both talked about how much we enjoyed it. Like, I think we were both extremely worried about the adaptation of this.
Yeah.
And they knocked it out of the park. As an animator, like, how did you feel about the presentation of the visual style, like character designs, even just the overall look of what we had in the frame?
One of the things I was blown away with was like how accurate it was to the Fujimoto's original style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I kind of was curious if they were gonna like kind of mainstream it like a little, like change the art style or whatnot. And no, it looks like as if the panels are just like blown up and animated straight like from, like, it looks like Tatsuki himself did this.
Yeah.
And it looks really, really good.
I think that what I enjoy about Tatsuki's manga is he's very cinematic in his framing and blocking.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty well known that Fujimoto is a huge cinephile.
Yeah.
Right?
Just look at the OP for Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes me fucking sick.
I think that the way that Fujimoto blocks and frames his manga panels are extremely cinematic in its looks. He's mastered that. And so I think the director was very wise to keep that sort of framing and blocking from Fujimoto, right? And so for him, I think his creativity came in the coloring. How did you feel that the use of colors were to like enhance and turn this from a black and white still image or like an image into a moving picture?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, definitely, a lot of it is with the lighting and the tone of it. Whenever you see Fujino in her creative space and her inspired, there's a lot more color and saturation. And then whenever she starts to, at the parts when she starts to feel insecure about her talents, compared to Kyomoto, everything gets desaturated and there's a lot of grays and harsher shadows.
Yeah.
And the especially the part when she's in Fujino's like house for the first time, it's completely almost devoid of color and light.
Yes.
And it's just this depressing space.
Yes.
And then as soon as like once Kyomoto comes out, then the light comes back in, and then we start to see this beautiful scene of Fujino running back home, inspired again to become an artist again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dancing in the rain.
Dancing, which is one of your all-time favorite.
I love that panel. I love the panel a lot.
I thought the director did a great job at that part.
So I wanted to talk a bit about how color-wise it was embedded in the like passage of time.
Yeah, and the seasons. Yeah.
Exactly, in the seasons. So not only was it the movement of seasons to show, oh, this time is moving. Oh, it's winter now, or it's this now. But I thought what was so beautiful is that the story starts at night. Right? You see a beautiful night sky, beautiful moon, and then Fujino is diligently working, writing her, her panels.
Yeah.
And it's nighttime. And then it goes on. And then they're kind of, when Fujino and Kyomoto are kind of going out of their shells. They're making all these one-shots together.
Yeah.
It's like the daytime. And you have this spectacular adaptation where they are running with their hands together and the
yes.
golden brightness of the sun.
Yes.
Right? It's like their lives at that point are mirroring that noon light.
Yeah.
It's golden. It's beautiful, right? And then as time goes on, there's a split, right? After every peak of a script, you got to have the valley so they can get back up. And the two have to part.
And we were talking about blocking and adaptation. Yes. One of the things that I thought was so good, it was such a small change, but when they're talking about going their separate ways, there's this tree in the background.
Okay.
And in the manga, it's kind of just randomly in the background.
Yeah.
But in the adaptation, in the anime, it's right
in the middle.
In the between
it
them.
Splits them.
And it splits them.
I love that.
And trees are often used as a metaphor for branching off different paths, which is very important in this story of branching timelines.
Yep.
And so, like, that one little thing, that one little change added so much to me.
I think also, again, so this goes back to the idea of their progression in life was a progression of like a day. This is the twilight. This scene happens in a beautiful twilight. You see the blues and the purples.
Yeah.
Their feelings are represented by the colors you see. This might be one of my favorite movies of the year. It's probably one of my favorite movies of the decade. Because of choices like this, right? And you get to see it visually.
Yeah.
Right? I thought one of the greatest decisions that this director did was to pull the music back in some of the most emotional scenes. When Fujino goes back to Kyomoto's room, it's dead fucking silent.
Yeah.
There's no background noise. And she's confronted with the door, which is a recurring Fujimoto motif about trauma and how we seal off trauma. And Fujino is just standing in front of Kyomoto's door, and then she picks up a Shonen Jump, and she's thumbing through it, and then she sees the 4 panels, just a 4-panel strip, and she drops the manga, and all you hear is this thud. No music. But I think what is so beautiful about this alternate reality that was not present in the manga is that when Kyomoto and Fujino meet for the first time, it's mirrored exactly in when they re-meet in the alternate universe.
Yeah.
You have the shot of just kind of the camera pulling away from her, right? And she gets smaller in the background. And then you see Fujino in the ambulance, being taken down the road. It parallels it. And then Kyomoto does the same sort of walk away as Fujino does in the rain. It's exactly parallel, right? To show, how they're kind of two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that was so beautiful. Like, it really stuck out to me. Like, it helped to really hammer home, I think, a lot of the ideas and themes that Fujimoto was trying to speak about in the original manga, right? But just layered on it in a way that, again, turning this into what it was turned into, it could have been disastrous in how they lengthened it.
Yeah.
I think that all of the parts that were added helped to expand upon our understanding of these characters and the understanding of their relationship, as well as just their like inner selves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things I appreciated about this series, even with the manga, from an artistic standpoint, is like this idea of imposter syndrome and the fact that your art will never live up to your peers.
Yes.
And like, I've had so many real life experiences where I've done something and I'm like, it's so crap. I'm not good. And then I've had classmates go like, oh my gosh, how did you do this with the composition? How did you do this with the color? And I'm like, it's not that great. I mean, yours is great. Yours is beautiful. And they're like, no.
We always want what we don't have.
Yeah. And this idea of like how as an artist, your something that you may find insignificant can really inspire someone else. And one of the things that I after watching this anime, I really wanted to really think about the title, Look Back, and what that means. And it could apply to so many things. It could apply to what I said, the imposter syndrome. It always feels like you're looking back and trying to, you're never able to live up to your expectations or what you want. It's also this idea of looking back at your past and how your interactions, how your relationships with people shaped your life and shaped the world around you. And it's the fact that Fujimoto was able to write such a deep and layered story on so many levels, because you don't even need to be an artist to fully appreciate this. Everybody has trauma, everybody has regret, and so the fact that the title and all the themes are so deeply layered is so beautiful. So one of the final things I wanted to talk about was the final scene with Fujino after she's seen the Kiyomoto's phone coma and she's been able to overcome her grief and continue drawing as an artist. We see her go to her desk and she's just solemnly working as the credits roll, and then we see this passage of time, and it so perfectly bookmarks the beginning on multiple levels. In the beginning we see,
because it happens in the morning.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So it's this perfect bookmark.
Oh yeah, you nailed that one. Yeah, and I think to even more so, right? So you see the movie starts in the morning and it ends at the night, right after the funeral, which takes place at night. But during the credits scene, we see the sun rise as she's working, and it goes through full cycle of the day. And so it's kind of to be like, in the end, we move on. Yeah. Right? Things continue to move on. And even if there's these traumatic, dark things that happen, that we got to keep looking forward. Yeah.
Ironically, look forward.
Exactly.
If you get the chance to see this on the big screen, take it. It
100%.
is so good.
Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for putting up with us. Yeah. We appreciate it. And absolutely. We hope that maybe we'll inspire someone else to go talk about some shit. Yeah.
Yeah.